Why is my gluten-free pie crust so crumbly? Imagine biting into a slice of pie and feeling like the crust is falling apart before you even get to the filling. That can be frustrating, especially when you're craving a delicious gluten-free dessert. If your gluten-free pie crust turns out crumbly instead of tender and flaky, you're not alone. Many bakers face this issue, but understanding what causes it can help you fix the problem and make better crusts every time. One big reason gluten-free pie crusts are crumbly is because they lack gluten, the protein in wheat that gives dough elasticity and strength. Without gluten, the dough doesn't stretch or hold together well, so it tends to break apart easily. Think of gluten as the glue that keeps the crust intact. When it's missing, the dough needs extra help from other ingredients. Moisture is another key factor. Gluten-free flours tend to soak up more liquid than regular wheat flour, but the amount needed varies depending on the flour blend. If your dough feels dry or crumbly, it probably needs a little more liquid. Adding small spoonfuls of cold water, milk, or even sour cream gradually can help the dough come together without becoming sticky. It's best to add liquid slowly and stop when the dough just holds together. Binders like xanthan gum, guar gum, or psyllium husk are also essential. These ingredients act like gluten, helping the dough stick and stretch. If your flour blend doesn't already contain a binder, adding a teaspoon or two can make a big difference. They improve elasticity and reduce crumbliness. Chilling the dough is another step that helps. Using cold butter and cold liquids, then chilling the dough for at least 30 minutes helps the fat firm up and hydrates the flour. This makes the dough easier to work with and less prone to cracking or crumbling. When you're ready to roll it out, keep the dough cold and handle it gently. Handling techniques matter too. Rolling the dough between sheets of parchment paper or plastic wrap prevents sticking and tearing. When transferring the crust to the pie dish, fold it over a rolling pin instead of lifting it with your hands. This reduces breakage and keeps the dough intact. Different gluten-free flour blends can also affect how crumbly your crust turns out. Some blends have more starch or different grain ratios, which change how much liquid they absorb. You might need to adjust the amount of water or binder depending on the specific flour you use. Overworking or underworking the dough can cause problems. If you knead it too much, it can become tough. If you don't knead it enough, it stays crumbly. Gently knead until the dough just comes together, then shape it into a disc and chill. Butter size and temperature are important too. Using small, cold pieces of butter creates flaky layers. If the butter melts before baking, the crust can become greasy and fragile. Keep everything cold until you are ready to bake. Some practical tips include starting with the recipe's recommended liquid amount but being ready to add a teaspoon at a time if needed. Use a binder if your flour blend lacks one. Chill the dough thoroughly and handle it gently. When rolling, use parchment paper to prevent sticking. If cracks appear, press them together with slightly wet fingers. For wet fillings, blind bake the crust to prevent sogginess and crumbling. Knowing these factors can help you create a gluten-free pie crust that holds together well, is easy to handle, and bakes up tender and flaky. With a little patience and practice, gluten-free baking can become more successful and even fun.